So now let's look at how someone makes the decisions when going to have a high-end single-family home built for themselves. And this process is very similar to buying a luxury car. So the way to look at this is what I call the pyramid of desire. People who buy a luxury car are first attracted to what the car represents emotionally to them, which in this case is a desire for status. That's also the first thing that attracts an affluent person to build a high-end home. So then they go on a search to find a style of car they like. It might be a Ferrari, it might be a Lamborghini, it might be a Bugatti or an Aston Martin, for example. And they finally settle on one they like. So they choose the style of car, which in this example is going to be a Ferrari. Now, here's what I want you to understand. You don't see people going into car showrooms saying, I want to spend $300,000 on a luxury sports car today, but I'm not sure what to go for. Can you help me? No, by the time that conversation is happening, they not only have picked a style of car they want, but they'll also have it down to the model number, the color, the stereo system, the works. The point here is that they have already made up their mind on the style of car when they go to buy it. And it's the same with high-end resi. You can't persuade someone to like a style. It's a personal tasting. Either you like it or you don't. All you can do as an architect is align with it. Now here's where the magic happens. Whilst they are sold on the type of car, when it comes to buying one, there are parts of the car that matter the most. So what are the most important parts of a car from a logical sense? Well, it's the engine, the suspension, the brakes, and all that stuff that needs to work and to get from A to B, if not kill you altogether if they fail. But here's the question. Are these the things that sell Ferraris? Does someone even check these parts when they buy a Ferrari? Well, of course they don't. They care more about the color of the car, the rear spoilers, the sound it makes when it's started up, the feel of the texture of the seats, how the car smells, the car stereo, even the bloody cup holders. These are the most important factors when someone purchases a Ferrari. And these are also the options you get when you buy one. You don't get an option to change the engine or suspension, but you get plenty of options to change all this other stuff because car dealers know this is where all the power is. This is where all the leverage is. And this is the stuff that people actually pay for. This is what makes people hand over $300,000 for a car. And what all these things have in common is they are all based on emotion, and that emotion is the desire for high status. And the parts of the car are the physical representation of having high status. And you'll notice that everything I just listed here are all things other people can see, hear, feel, or smell, because that's what status is. It's all about how someone appears to other people. And this is what they are really buying. The car just represents it. And it's the exact same with high-end resi. First, they are attracted to the status a high-end home represents for them. Then they will research and look at what styles they like and dislike. A mid-century modern style home looks differently to a shipping container home than it does to a ranch style home than it does to a chateau. High-end resi is the same. The clients will have already decided what style or type of house they want before they approach an architect. And if you're going to spend a lot of money on a shipping container home, for example, who are you going to spend that money with? An architect who specializes in this type of home, or an architect that is more general and works on all four? Of course, the answer is the architect that specializes in shipping container homes, and that's all the architect specializes in. It communicates a far better level of expertise than the architect that works on all four types in this example. So, for high-end resi, and this is a writer downer, you need to specialize in a specific type or style of single-family residence. Otherwise, you won't appeal to the high-end resi market. And if we look at what are the most important parts of the house from a logical standpoint, it's the structure, how you deliver your service, the electrics, and all that stuff. Otherwise, the house can't get built. But similar to the engine and suspension in the car, they don't care about the structure of the house. They don't care about the electrics. They don't care about how the house is built or what permits were needed or what drawings were needed, or indeed how you deliver your service. So if you try and base your promotions around how you deliver your services, for example, you will fail. In other words, high-end resi clients want the sizzle, not the steak. They want a 1/4 inch hole, not a 1/4 inch drill bit. So if someone wants a high-end shipping container home, they first like the style, which sends them on the search for an architect that specializes in that style. But it's the parts of the house that people see, hear, feel, or smell, but especially the visual aspect that has all the power and leverage. And it's that makes them interested in hiring you and availing of your services. Does this make sense? Unlike last week, here is a short list of the parts of the home that other people see. So we have entrance walkway or driveway. We've got the external appearance, which is the project style and look. You've got the front door, hallway, open plan kitchen diner, a dining room if it's separate, living room, downstairs bathrooms, back garden, rear patio, conservatory, home bar, games room, entertainment room, swimming pool. You could probably include guest rooms and guest accommodation in there too. And these are just a few examples. So in short, to appeal to the high-end resi market, you need to niche on a specific style of single-family home and focus on the parts that other people will see. And this is what will get them interested in what you offer in the first place. Now, of course, other spaces are important, like bedrooms and en-suites and all the private areas. But the leverage is in all the spaces other people will see when the client is first searching for an architect. Does that make sense? Now, as we said last week, status is not always the biggest driver. There are others, but it is the most common, and it is present in some shape or form in all high-end resi. So if you don't know what the drivers are, then start with status, because you really can't go wrong with it. So the value you provide over other architects is your expertise in being able to deliver a specific style of home with a focus on the parts of the house that other people see. There is only one big problem the client has when they start doing their search for an architect, and that's finding an architect that understands the project style, understands them, and understands what they want from the project. At this stage in the process, they don't care about anything else, and this is how you communicate all this. So yes, 80% of what we offer is the same, but it's the 20% I just spoke about that makes all the difference in the mind of the affluent client that wants one of these types of homes. So can you see how powerful this is? And this is just one half of the Sir Norman marketplace. Once you mix in the other half, then you are really cooking. What you need to understand is that high-end resi clients buy results and expertise. They don't buy time. However, how do most people sell their architectural services? Let me tell you now, you are not selling time, you are selling results. Who here has experience of spending ages filling out timesheets with project codes and all that stuff? We all have. There are only so many hours in the day. Time is finite. And if you charge on that basis, your income will be finite too. Once we focus on the solution and results for a specific type of project and client, then the whole game changes. Think of the difference between a GP and a heart surgeon. The GP provides a general service such as writing prescriptions, looking at people's general ailments, etc., and gets paid accordingly. You don't go to a GP to get treated for anything specific. If you do visit one, you get referred to a specialist. I'm actually going to go out of this for a sec.